Hello, my name is Michael Jolley, and this is my instructional administration presentation on the approval of new academic programs in the states of Nebraska and Kentucky. This presentation will include an overview of the institutions and program, general new program approval process, college and state level procedures, as well as discussing the role of the instructional administrator. I'll make some recommendations for improvement, and I'll provide you with some references. My home and assigned states are Nebraska and Kentucky, respectively. As my higher education interests center on community colleges, I selected Northeast Community College as my home institution. Having done some earlier work with administrators at Northeast, I felt my previous access to those administrators would prove valuable for this class. In addition, I felt Northeast represented the community colleges in Nebraska quite well. Since our assignments seek to explore the similarities and differences in our home and assigned states, I chose a community college in Kentucky based on similar demographic data to Northeast. After a review of 16 community and technical colleges in the state, I selected West Kentucky Community and Technical College as my assigned institution. Northeast Community College's main campus is in Norfolk, Nebraska, a town populated by just over 24,000 people. Located in the northeastern part of the state, Norfolk is about a 2-hour drive from Lincoln. The college serves over 7,000 full-time equivalent students on 4 campuses over a 20-county rural area. By comparison, West Kentucky Community and Technical College in Paducah, Kentucky, a town of more than 27,000 people, services nearly the same number of students on a similar geographic area. The college consists of the main Paducah campus and 6 additional off-campus sites in and around the Paducah rural area. Although both Northeast and West Kentucky offer Associate of Arts degrees in Business Administration, the increased number of large-scale warehouses in the Norfolk and Paducah areas led both colleges to consider the development of a new Associate of Arts degree in Materials Management. This degree would provide graduates with comprehensive knowledge of materials management, inventory, and product transportation. Graduates would be able to transfer with junior standing to in-state 4-year institutions should they so desire. In general, the approval process for new programs is similar for institutions in both Nebraska and Kentucky. The process can begin at the department or college level. At the department level, faculty might identify and determine a need not currently satisfied by existing programs, or colleges may decide to evaluate new possible programs in response to community needs. In community colleges, new programs are generally developed at the college level in direct response to community wants or local business needs. Colleges usually involve several stakeholder groups and often create academic program committees to start and manage the process. From either starting point, institutional personnel begin the process of identifying the need, defining the program's purpose, determining the content, ascertaining the target student population, verifying available resources, and establishing institutional fit. All these data serve to inform the academic plan or program proposal necessary to gain stakeholder support and approval. Once the college completes their evaluation of the proposed program, the proposal requires the approval of the governing board for the respective colleges. These boards review the proposal in light of college policies and procedures. Reviews at this stage center more on the overall needs of the program and how the new program fits within the institutional mission of the college. Boards can either disapprove the proposal, return the proposal for modification, or approve the plan and forward the program application materials to the State Coordinating Commission for final approval. Now, we'll review the college-level policies and procedures for new program development. Generally, each college follows similar specific policies as identified in their respective policy and procedure manuals. Kentucky, however, has a slightly different process whereby the college follows the policies and procedures as outlined by the Kentucky Community and Technical College system. There's also an additional step at the state level, which we'll review later on. And Stark identified 8 elements of academic plans that instructional administrators and their institutions should consider and make decisions about before, during, and after program development. These elements include purposes, the knowledge, skills, and attitudes to be learned; content, the subject matter selected to convey specific knowledge, skills, and attitudes; sequence, the arrangement of the subject matter and experiences intended to lead to specific outcomes; learners, how the plan will address a specific group of learners; instructional processes, the instructional activities by which learning may be achieved; instructional resources, the materials and settings to be used in the learning process; evaluation, the strategies used to determine whether decisions about the elements of the academic plan are optimal; and adjustment, enhancements to the plan based on experience and evaluation. Both internal processes at Northeast and West Kentucky incorporate most, if not all, of these elements throughout their design and development activity. In addition, colleges must ensure that any new degree program adheres to the accrediting guidelines from the respective accrediting agencies. Northeast Community College is accredited by the Higher Learning Commission, which is a member of the North Central Association of Colleges and Schools. HLC uses 5 criteria to evaluate colleges under its purview: mission, integrity, teaching and learning, encompassing quality resources and support, as well as evaluation and improvement, and resources, planning, and institutional effectiveness. West Kentucky is accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges. SACSC uses 4 criteria in its evaluative procedures: principles of integrity, core requirements, comprehensive standards, and federal regulations. These criteria from both accrediting agencies align with both Latuka and Stark's academic plan elements, as well as the institutional and state-level policies and procedures for academic program development for both institutions. Both Northeast and West Kentucky utilize similar processes when developing new programs. After identification of a need and demand, the college relies upon an academic program committee to further research and compile the proposal documents. The committee addresses several areas such as the description and purpose of the program, the learning objectives, content materials and assessment tools, the method of delivery, whether that is online, face-to-face, or some hybrid, the college resources available, meaning faculty, facilities, funding, information such as that. In addition, they will look at external influences such as accrediting agency requirements, market forces, or government regulations. Northeast would compile a formal report addressing not only the descriptive information but also the review criteria as required by the Coordinating Commission for submission to the Governing Board and eventually to the Coordinating Commission for review and approval. In contrast, West Kentucky would only have to complete the pre-proposal documentation, essentially the descriptive information alone, which we'll discuss in the next section on state-level procedures. Next, we'll discuss the state-level procedures for new program approval in Nebraska and Kentucky. Although these procedures are quite similar, some notable differences exist. The program approval process at the state level in Nebraska is quite straightforward. The Coordinating Commission for Post-Secondary Education has legislative authority granted by the state to authorize new instructional programs. The Commission works with colleges and universities and governing boards to evaluate new program submissions. Institutions seeking to add new academic programs must compile an assortment of data into a formal new program proposal. The proposal consists of 2 sections: descriptive information and review criteria. The descriptive information describes the name, CIP code, degree level, delivery locations, implementation date, and purpose of the program. In addition, this section includes college-related information regarding faculty, funding, and facilities, as well as the approval date of the institution's governing board. The review criteria, outlined on the next slide, stem from the objectives for review established by the Commission in 2008. These objectives include meet educational needs, assure efficiency, avoid unnecessary duplication, assure adequacy of resources, and assure new programs approved by the Commission meet minimum performance standards established by the Commission. As indicated earlier, the criteria for approval from the Coordinating Commission of Post-Secondary Education centers on the following areas: centrality to the role and mission of the institution, consistent with statewide plans for post-secondary education, evidence of both a need and a demand for the program, adequate resources, and an avoidance of duplication. In addition, other criteria may be included as required or necessary. Institutions submit their formal program proposals to the Coordinating Commission, and the Commission reviews and rules on their application. Kentucky's approval process, although similar to Nebraska's, does include some notable differences. The Kentucky Council on Post-Secondary Education has overall statutory power per Kentucky Revised Statute to approve new academic programs, but in contrast to Nebraska's approval process, in 1999 it deferred management of new program applications for associate degree and certification programs to the Kentucky Community and Technical College system. Any higher education institution seeking to gain approval for new associate's programs must submit applications to the KCTCS. Then, they will determine if an existing community college in the same geographic area 1, does not have an interest in creating a similar program, and 2, does not have the ability to implement the program in a more cost-efficient and effective manner. If a community or technical college in the area can implement a similar program within 1 year and can do so more efficiently, the council can deny the program application. Conversely, if the applying institution can provide evidence that KCTCS will not create a similar program, the council can approve the application. If so, the applying institution must then submit a full proposal to KCTCS Board of Regents for approval. Institutions should notify and gain approval for any programs they intend to develop within 3 years. The academic program approval process consists of 2 stages, the pre-proposal and the proposal stage. In the pre-proposal stage, institutions must submit to the council a pre-proposal document addressing several pieces of information, including justification for the new program, validation for the new program, especially if other similar programs exist, and evidence that the program is aligned with the institution's mission, the state's post-secondary education strategic agenda, and the statewide strategic implementation plan. Once the pre-proposal is approved, the institution submits a full program proposal approved by the institution's governing board. Further descriptions of the pre-proposal and proposal stages continue on the next slide. Recall that the Kentucky Council for Post-Secondary Education deferred program management for associate's programs to the Kentucky Community and Technical College System in 1999 in an effort to streamline the program approval process. Subsequently, they modified the approval process, stipulating that Kentucky community and technical colleges would not be required to submit full proposals, and the Kentucky Council for Post-Secondary Education agreed to expedite all program approval requests from KCTCS. This system ensures that the Kentucky Community and Technical College System has ample opportunity to provide Kentuckians associate-level education at the lowest rates possible. Furthering our discussion on Kentucky's 2 proposal stages, the pre-proposal stage requires an application from the institution addressing several program and institution-related issues. The application includes such basic information as the program name, CIP code, degree level, implementation date, and a complete description, but also requires institutions to specifically address curricular concerns such as the identified learning outcomes, an assessment plan, and the method of delivery. Additionally, the application must identify how the new program relates to other existing programs, internal to and external from the applying institution. Finally, the application requires the institution to identify the instructional resources, such as faculty, facilities, and funding, available for the new program. Full proposals, in comparison, require extensive research and internal evaluation on several key high-level elements of the proposed program. The proposal must meet the program's centrality to the institution's mission and how it is consistent with the state's post-secondary educational goals. The proposal must also discuss program quality and student success issues, program demand and unnecessary duplication, cost and funding sources, and program review and assessment. Throughout the new program approval process, the instructional administrator is ever present. From initial inquiries regarding the need and demand for new programs through the final approval stages in collaboration with state coordinating commissions, instructional administrators have various roles to play. During the initial design and development stages, IAs may facilitate the process, direct staff, and produce materials. When dealing with the various stakeholders, they must collaborate, coordinate, broker, and monitor. Finally, working through the submission process requires diligent monitoring and mentoring to bring the program to fruition. I liken many of the roles that IAs play throughout the process as being representative of the core leadership competencies identified by the American Association for Community Colleges. Being an effective IA during new program development requires a person with an abundance of leadership characteristics such as those identified by AACC. Institutions and states do an admirable job of explaining the policies and procedures necessary to bring new instructional programs to fruition. The largest roadblock to the implementation of new programs seems to be the time required to not only compile persuasive and complete application materials, but also to wait for program approval from internal and external agencies. Internally, I would make 3 recommendations to both institutions. Improve the timeliness of submission and approval process. Involving more stakeholders at the design and development phase should serve to shorten the time to completion and improve the chances of program approval. Latuka and Stark note how continuous curriculum planning in top programs consider curriculum throughout the development process. And finally, embrace instructional design theory and conceptual frameworks. Aligning course objectives to learning outcomes and assessment strategies can improve the rigor of designed courses. Externally, I would again recommend strategies to improve the timeliness of the submission and approval process. Using an online submission evaluation system could allow external stakeholders to review materials more quickly, resulting in faster decisions and more efficient processes. All data utilized and references made are available here.